Today I'm going to talk to you about Words Their Way assessment. At Pleasant View Elementary, we give an assessment at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year. When you are giving the assessment, you will begin by looking at the Words Their Way book and going to page 319. On page 319 is a primary spelling inventory. This will give you the word, and it also has a sentence. I apologize for the blurry, that goes along. So you'll give your students a list, a Words Their Way assessment sheet. One, you can just make this up. There are 26 words on the primary assessment and on the elementary assessment. Have them write their name on this and then begin the assessment. When you are done giving the words, you will take your sheet, and this is a student in my class. You will take this sheet and you will grade the list, and you will also use a Words Their Way inventory that you can find on page 321. I'm going to show you where the inventory is that I have copied. You'll take this and you'll grade it. So what I've done is I have counted weight wrong because my student spelled weight W-A-T-E. And so she got the beginning sound of the W, so I like to highlight that. That's how I record mine if they have it. However, she spelled weight W-A-T-E. She spelled it with a consonant vowel E, and it needs to be spelled with the A-I. So what I do is I can tell now that she's missed this common long vowel, A-I, and that will help me to know specific skills that she needs help with. She spelled fan correct, so I like to dot it and follow along and give her a check for spelling that entire thing correct. You'll continue down through the list, and I like to dot it. You can do it any way that she spelled pet correct and dig correct. And now I'm going to go down to one that she missed. If you can see here that on number 11, she spelled the word dream, D-R-E-M. So on my inventory for the word dream, here it is. And I'm only looking for two things. I'm looking that she had the DR, which she did. So I'm going to go ahead and check that. But her EA, her vowels, EA, she didn't have, so I like to circle it. You'll continue this grading through the whole chart, and when you're done, you will total out the number of spelling words they spelled correctly, the number of miscues that they had along the way. And on this, if she had 14 spelling words correct, I would mark 14. I would total the bottom, and I'm just going to total it here just to give you an idea, and say she just missed this one, and she missed 2 here, so she got 5. Let's say she got all 7 right, and she got 7 of these correct. So then I would add the bottom to find out the feature points. So 7 times 6 is 42, plus 11 would be 53. So I would add my feature points to my total correct, which would be 67. And then when you're doing this, you're only going to use one score, this score, which we call the power score, to determine what her spelling stage is. This sheet that I'm going to show you, you can find on page 30 of the book. So if this student got 17 correct, I would look, and it falls between 16 and 19. So she would be late within words. So I would record late within words. So I would know where to begin her Words Their Way sheets that I was working on in class. Late within words. If you have a student who scores above 22 on the primary, then you will need to go to the spelling inventory elementary, and you can find that in your Words Their Way book also, and you will find that on page 323 with the list. It also has 26 words, and the assessment is on the following page. Now, the information that you gather from the sheet is really important, so I'm just going to show you how I did mine for the beginning and the middle of the year. What I like to do is I had my students and I recorded their power score. That was the number that they got correct, that they spelled correct. And on my power score, you could see that Milo scored a 10 on August 14th and she scored a 16 on November 24th. So she was in early within words and then went to late within words. So I like to document that she grew 2 stages. And now I have given the test again on May 5th, and I'll record the power score and then do a total year's growth. The information that is given on the bottom portion of that is so valuable in when calling kids back in small groups. So what I like to do is take the information from the primary sheet scores and talk about my instruction that I'm going to be calling kids back. So on the back of this, after I knew which of my students I had to call back and work on the vowels, like no one in my class needed short A. These are the friends that needed E, I, O, and short U. Then I also had a list of my friends who needed to work on digraphs and the specific digraphs that they needed to work on based on the information given from this spelling inventory feature guide, which are the points at the bottom. So if I circled it, then I knew that on this sheet, Annabelle would need to work on AI, the long vowel pairs, and EA. The blends, no one, and this was my list, and then the magic E. I also had a list of kids who needed to work on inflected endings. I will tell you that for me, if I hadn't taught the skill yet, because at this time I hadn't taught when I made the sheet, the students didn't know AI, I hadn't taught it, or Bossy R. So it wasn't important for me to put those kids in a group because those were skills that I hadn't taught, but they were being assessed. Based on the information that you get for the groups, the spelling stages, on this, Annabelle was in late within words. In my classroom, then I in turn made a list of groups. I only had one student that was in late letter naming, so I just moved her up to early within words, so I only had 4 groups. So these were my groups as I started my Words Their Way lessons. The information is in the book. It's pretty simple and self-explanatory. If you need help, anyone in the building or on your team would be happy to help you. But that's just an overview on Words Their Way spelling assessment as you give that 3 times and use your data to determine your Words Their Way groups or small groups as you're working on word studies or word work. Good luck.